Okay, so we will discuss new literacies, functional literacy, and multi-literacy. So this will be our session objectives. First, to discuss new literacies and their impact on teaching and learning process, which is quite very obvious already on your part because we already discussed, we already touched lessons about new literacy. Now, we are going to reinforce our learning about literacies, new literacies in this session. Second, to describe a multi-literate teacher, to define functional literacy, and of course, to be able to draw differences between functional literacy and new literacies, to draw relevant life lessons and significant values from personal application of functional literacy. Okay. This will be our session outline on your screen. New literacies, functional literacy, and multi-literacy. So let's start with the new literacies. Obviously, when we speak of new literacies in the 21st century, these are the common categories that you will see. Again, the categories, the classification depends on the author, on the book you are using. But are there commonalities? Yes. Can they may be using another term, but they mean the same. And if you're going to assess multicultural, social media, financial, digital, ecological, creative, these are skills, okay, that we need in order to survive the 21st century. So these are skills that we need to survive the 21st century. First, multicultural literacy. Example, you're teaching values education. It's about respect of others' culture. So sa history, or kasi na tinatawag sibika at kultura, we are teaching about culture. Ganito talaga ang paninamit sa lugar na to. Pinapakita mo yung pananamit sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. So it's about cultural awareness. Is that multicultural literacy you are teaching? Yes. So in cases that they will be dealing with these people coming from other country, they know how to understand. There's no multicultural literacy. That's why you have the tendency to become insensitive. Okay, and multicultural literacy is very important in business. Why? If you are going to propose to deal with people, you need to understand their culture. If not, there will be conflict. There will be war. You're coming from different cultural backgrounds, of course. And I need to understand that. Diba? I need to understand that it's part of your personality. It's part of who you are. It's part of your culture. So again, multicultural literacy to raise to sensitivity and awareness of people. Next, social literacy. Syempre, interpersonal skills, which relates to multicultural literacy. And it's needed because you will be dealing and interacting with people. Am I right? Next, media literacy, it's very clear to you. Financial literacy, digital literacy, it's about the devices, okay, that we use in relation to ICT, the phone. Digital literacy has something to do with that. So, well, anyway, the learners of this generation, hindi sila mahirap turuan sa digital literacy. Ang tuturuan natin what we are going to teach is that we should teach them how to become responsible digital users. Based nga sa research, diba, ginagamit nila ang mga devices, mobile phones, TV, internet, purely for entertainment. Okay? Your task, the challenge now is, how are you going to teach these learners to use these devices into something worthwhile? Make your material, digital material, informative and entertaining. That's the point. Okay? Yung approach na gusto nila, dun mo gawin, na hindi nila alam na nag-aaral na pala sila. Because they are watching something that they enjoy with. Okay? Your research, may Google Store dyan, no? May Google Store naman. Tignan mo yung mga apps na pwede for education, for teaching. Okay? Tools for teaching, mo. And then, experiment on them. Okay. Ecological literacy has something to do with the environment, okay, ways to preserve, at pwede namang ituro yan ng mga advisors, subject teachers, with the way they design the entire school and the classroom. Like the way you reuse, okay, trash, okay, from trash to cash, yung mga programs na ganyan. Kaya yung mga urban gardening yung ginagamit ang mga bote, okay, or plastic bottles as vases or pots, I mean. Okay, creative literacy. I repeat, to be creative, you have to use old materials, okay, in a different way, into something new. Okay, yung mula sa lata na ginawang instructional material ni teacher, naging vocabulary spinner. Okay? Pagdating sa harap, diba? Mga ganyan na, no? Mag-isip tayo. In this way, we teach them about creative literacy. It's not necessarily expensive. Hindi naman kailangan mahal in order to be creative. Alam niyo, ang tunay na creativity, yung mura, napapamahal mo in terms of value. Okay? Made from, hindi naman sinabi kong binebenta siya ng mahal, no? Ito, overpricing. Aliwaita. What I mean is that from simple materials, you are able to create, to produce something that is worthy of value. Okay? These are the 21st century literacies according to research. Okay? First, as new technologies shape literacies, they bring opportunities for teachers to foster reading and writing in more diverse participatory work. So impact. We are talking about the impact of the 21st century literacy skills. In here, of course, since you have the devices, okay, you have this media literacy, ang dali nila mag-research ngayon. Kaya nga ang online class successful kasi Google, you have different sites. You know what to do. Okay, it's like your library in your phone. Ating visual aid today. You have your library in your phone. You have questions, you don't know what to do, you can ask your teacher. You want to have self-study, you can visit sites and do self-study. You want to read anything, you can search anything in your mobile phone. Alam niyo, necessity na siya ngayon in this era, yung Wi-Fi connection, data connection of phone. It's already a necessity. And there are more opportunities to reading and writing. Not only in reading, writing, in a lot of classroom activities, okay, in which they could use their phones. Sites like Literature Voice of the Shuttle, online fan fiction, and the Internet Public Library expand both the range of available text and the social dimensions of literacy. So I repeat, there will be more opportunities for learning. There will be more opportunities for teaching. And it will be rapid and immediate. They are already made available. Okay, so this is it focuses on reading. Number 3, research on electronic reading workshops shows that they contribute to the emergence of new literacy. You'll be developing your media literacy, information literacy, technology literacy, and the learning and innovation skills. Yung learning ability mo. I mean, if you have your phone, magkakaroon ka ng metacognition ngayon. Okay, it develops this what we call new literacy. Next, research also shows that digital technology enhances writing and interaction in several ways. Of course, when you write using your laptop, mabilis. Diba? Because all you have to do is to type. Pag may pura, may mga control X tayo dyan, control V, napakadali. If you want to cite sources, copy and then paste. And then cite. Diba? Ganun lang. But I repeat, there are skills na na-develop when it comes to writing using ballpen and paper. May mga skills na na-develop din using computer. Parang may advantage and disadvantage. Okay, yung disadvantage lang sa nakikita ko sa electronic reading and writing is that madaling mag-copy, copy na lang ng copying iba. Like they own what should not be owned by them. Diba? Yun ang iwasan natin, plagiarism. We should emphasize that they should not plagiarize. Okay. Interaction, of course. K-12 students who write with computers produce composition of greater length. Of course. Okay, napakadali na. Madali. And higher quality are more engaged with and motivated toward writing than those who do not write the computers. Okay, so I repeat, with the use of these devices, nagagamit na mas mabilis yung trabaho and they produce greater length. O syempre, commonly, if you have your laptop with you or your mobile device, madaling magbura, sabi ko nga. Okay, madaling magdagdag, madaling mag-edits. According to research, mabilis daw silang gumawa ng output kapag they are using these devices. Kaya napapansin ko sa mga grade 7 learners, kapag ballpen lang ginagamit nila, wala silang masulat. Pero kapag tinatype nila yung mga posts, like if you ask them to post your answer on our page, ang dami nilang nasasabi. Invite the learner also to balance between the personal communication, face-to-face communication, and virtual communication, because these two are very important. Okay. Number 6, college students who keep Eportfolio have a higher rate of academic achievement and overall retention rate than those who do not keep Eportfolio. So, They also demonstrate a higher capacity of metacognition because if you keep your e-portfolio, it's understood that you can monitor and direct your own learning kasi nakikita mo yung mga output mo. Ako hanggang hindi natatapos ang semester, for instance, sa isang course ko in a graduate school program, lahat ng output ko nasa envelope. I know it's metacognition kasi I know that these notes will be relevant in the future. That's why I kept them. And it benefited me because this specific notes na hindi ko maintindihan yung session na yun, ni-note ko siya dun sa side para maintindihan ko. Nababasa ko siya instantly while I'm reading the major reference. Diba? It's very nice. It's a way for us to review, to refresh, and to retain the understanding of a lesson. Okay, both typical and atypical. When say typical, the yung average learners, that's what we mean by typical. When say atypical kasi, dalawang extreme yan. Either yung tamad o yung sobrang sipag. Okay? Students who receive an online response to writing revise their works better than those participating in the traditional method. Ayan. You've experienced Google Doc, Google Classroom, na-experience nyo, di ba? Diyan pwedeng maglagay ng feedback dun sa mga output ng mga bata. Like you could include notes on the side. Okay, pwede pang i-highlight yung mga output nila. And then pag binalik mo sa kanila, may mga corrections na nakalitaw sa side. Mabilis. At ang maganda dyan, hindi nababasa, hindi napupunat, hindi nawawala. All they have to do is open the file. Okay. Another thing, when it comes to producing output, okay, yung revision din kasi mabilis when it comes to the electronic devices. Kanina tinatanong ako kung in favor daw ba ako sa online class o hindi. I'm in favor, but it doesn't mean that I don't like face-to-face. It should be a balance of both. Okay? Kung mawala man to, let's say for instance, etong pandemic na at mag-face-to-face na tayo, now is it still good to offer online classes? Yes, for subjects na kailangan, na pwedeng i-deliver online. Okay, meron kasi mga subjects na mahirap i-deliver online. Like, sige, sa mathematics, for instance, you are using usually pag problem solving in chalk and board, right? And you need to check on some corrections. Pag mga output, isa-isa yan. Okay, aalamin mo. So, kailangan, nakakatulong kasi yung pag solving eh. You solve together. Okay, from the phrase itself, we are referring to literacy that is functional, that is useful in the workplace, that is useful in the daily life of a person. If it's not useful in the daily life of a person, then it's useless. Okay? Wala siyang gamit. Example, if you ask your learners to memorize the piece, the tree, if you want to have functional literacy, give them situations about environmental preservation because the tree is about environmental preservation. You are showing in the poem, the poet portrayed in the poem that seeing green is something that calms you. Okay? It connects with your spirit. It connects with your soul. Functional literacy, this is the literacy to meet the changing demands. It's the ability of an individual to take part in professional, social, political, and cultural aspects in a society. Okay, which was already discussed a while back. Okay, this refers to literacy that is of use. Okay, that is useful to the person using the literacy. It will make you survive the society, the workplace, the community. Literacy programs should be integrated to and correlated with economic and social development plans. Okay, so in everything that we do, in whatever lesson we teach, it should be related to economic and social development plans. Teach them the skills, okay, that will help them become a good worker in the future. Ganun yun. Integrate that into your teaching kahit anumang lesson niya. Okay, addition, subtraction, division in mathematics, kung values education man yan, teach them how to have a good, better relationship with their fellow worker. The eradication of illiteracy should begin with the population sector, which are highly motivated and need literacy for their own and their country's benefit. Again, the goal of functional literacy is to eradicate illiteracy, and it should begin with the people. I repeat, eradication of illiteracy. And work also when you design your plan, is this plan, if I'm going to produce these people, am I producing citizens that will benefit something good into the society? Katulad sa math, diba? We teach the mathematics with values formation. Yun. Gamitin nila sa tama yung kaalaman na tinuturo natin. It's not only knowledge that we are teaching. We should also hone them to become people living with conscience. Conscientious people. Literacy programs should be linked with economic priorities and carried out in areas undergoing rapid economic expansion. Example, yung grades 11 and 12, may immersion sila, di ba? Ayan. Na-engage na sila into the workplace, into jobs, future jobs na meron sila. So, nalalaman nila yung trabaho. Meron pa sa TLE, yung entrepreneurship, yung literacy programs must impart not only reading and writing but also professional and technical knowledge leading to greater participation of adults in economic and civic life. So mapapansin nyo paulit-ulit yung economics, no, and civic life because again, we are talking about functional literacy. Okay, literacy must be an integral part of the overall educational system and plan of each country. So it's the work of the government. And on our part as teachers, we should make sure that when we assess our plan, ating literacy ka rin, we integrate it into our plan. Hindi lang yung turo ng topic. But again, ask yourself, am I teaching functional literacy? Okay. 6, the financial need for the functional literacy should be met with various resources as well as be provided for economic investments. O, economic na naman kasi nga, functional literacy. Yung economic investment, magandang take-off niya sa TLE class na pinagluluto tapos from the product, ipapabenta. And then, ipapapresent sa class yung kinita, yung tubo, okay, yung natira, kung nalugi ba o hindi. And yung strategy na ginamit sa pagbibenta. Okay? Ayan. Mga para-paraan.com. So, it's a way to, para siyang community of learners, no? Yung ganun. It's hands-on, so that in the future, they know how to deal with business. The literacy program should aid in achieving the main economic objective. So it's just the same with the others. So specific literacy. Okay, kanina functional literacy now. Let's talk about specific literacy. The job of the student is analyzed to see exactly the literacy skills needed to prevent job mismatch. Okay? Katulad kayo, since you are taking teaching or education, ang tinuturong skills sa inyo ay kung paano magturo. I'll be teaching you how to teach, how to be a teacher in school, okay, in the community. Okay, that's what you should learn in your course. It should be specific. Ang nakikialam sa college programs is SHED, at nire-review naman nila from time to time yung content. Kaya nga yung mga syllabus, diba, galing sa kanila and then i-cascade down sa mga schools. Okay, in basic education, meron na tayong senior high school, di ba? Specific na yung learning doon. Kung gusto mo ng science, it takes STEM. If you want to be an accountant, ABM, tama? That's what we mean by specific literacy in order to avoid job mismatch. Why? Kasi dati generalized, di ba? General course, lahat kukunin mo. Ang tanong, ito ba ang mga course na kinukuha mo, gagamitin ko sa Okay, educators have the responsibility to integrate information and communication technologies in the curriculum. And these are techniques on your screen on how we can integrate the new literacies into curriculum. So now your task is to read the remaining slides and the notes which are indicated below. Okay, basahin nyo, magbasa. And then, we will have the, syempre, aking dulo. Online reflection, and that is to screen. Nakakit siya. Distinguish between basic and functional literacy.